So we've just seen Star Wars Last Jedi. Slight change to our normal programming. We thought we'd review something that was new for a change. Why? Because I love Star Wars, that's why.
Yeah, well, because we don't do blockbusters.
Not normally.
That kind of thing. But we thought... And actually, it's quite... Because it is 40 years since the original one.
It is, yeah.
So let's try something different and watch the film, which we literally just did. And we've just come back. Mm-hmm. So it's all fresh in our minds. And we're going to try a review.
We're going to try it, yeah.
Give it our best shot.
To go with all the 10 million others on YouTube already.
Exactly. Will be a different viewpoint. Or not, depending on how we thought of the film. Yeah. How did we think of the film?
I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's not perfect. There's lots of people saying, "Oh, it's just as good as Empire." I'm not sure that is the case. Probably needs another viewing to be sure. But there's a few bits in there that I wasn't 100% on. But overall, it was certainly enjoyable. I think maybe a little bit long. There's nothing wrong with having more Star Wars. But I wasn't bored, I didn't think it was dragging or anything. But yeah, it was, I don't know, seems a bit, 2.5 hours is probably a little bit too long for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, I found it a bit long. I mean, I as we said before, you're a big Star Wars fan. I enjoy Star Wars. And in fact, you can't hear that Star Wars music and not enjoy the ride. I mean, it's just, it's a great visual feast. A little bit too long. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had a good time in there. And I suppose there's probably things in there that I could have done without that maybe other fans are totally happy with.
Like Porgs.
Yeah, I mean, also I found the humour. I found it too funny at times.
It's
and
definitely
it started to grate a bit on me.
It's got a slightly different style of humour, I think, from all the other Star Wars movies. I didn't have a problem with it per se, but yeah, it's I think some people might. Obviously,
I was one of them. Yeah, I mean, because I really enjoyed Rogue One. I thought that was really excellent, and that kind of took it. It was it felt like a much darker Star Wars, and obviously this is following on from The Force Awakens, which is a slightly lighter one. But I just felt at times I was starting to go in that route with it. I mean, it wasn't too much, but there were moments.
I think that, going back to the Porgs, I was concerned they were going to be like just a marketing exercise and let's sell lots of soft toys and.
I'm sure they will do anyway.
Well, probably, but I think they were more like on a par with sort of the humour that we saw from BB-8 in Force Awakens. Lots of sight gags.
Yeah,
and they weren't annoyingly intrusive. They just showed up a few times for a quick laugh. So I didn't think. My concerns were unwarranted as far as that goes.
That's fine.
So I mean, as far as the plot goes, obviously we don't want to do any spoilers. We're not going to spoil anything for anyone. But I would say, if you look too closely, there's not a whole lot of plot going on, really, is there?
Not really.
It takes place over quite a short period of time
that
follows directly on from Force Awakens. And so obviously Rey is looking for Luke, and the Resistance are on the run from the First Order, who apparently still have loads of ships and people despite having a whole planet blown up. They seem to be fine and just carried on with their nefarious plans. So we see a lot more Snoke as well, who I think which was needed. We don't see a lot of him in Force Awakens. And he was really good. I'm not entirely convinced by CGI characters. If it's not really necessary, which I don't really think it is in this case, but it's good CGI and it works. And as usual, Andy Serkis is the master of mocap performances, isn't he? And his storyline, along with Kylo Ren and Rey, and Luke, is the most interesting part of the movie. There's lots of other stuff going on, obviously, with Finn and new character Rose, played by Kelly Marie Tran. It's quite a fun addition, and obviously Poe's there, and you've got Leia as well. I think Mark Hamill is awesome in it. He did a really good job.
Yeah, I think he's great.
But he's not the Luke that you remember from the old movies.
He's not.
He's completely different.
He is. But he does it. He handles it really well.
He does, yeah. He's grumpy and sarcastic, and
hairy.
Quite hairy. He's not like Obi-Wan was in A New Hope. He's not a wise old man. He's just a hermit who's hiding away because he feels guilty for a lot, for Kylo Ren and all sorts of, he doesn't want anything to do with anybody anymore. So yeah, he's a bit annoyed at Rey turning up, let's say.
Yeah, and I thought the three central performances, was it Adam Driver, Daisy Ridley, and John Boyega?
Yep.
They're all really great actors. I mean, I have obviously before The Force Awakens, I'd seen Adam Driver in a couple of things before. John Boyega obviously was in, is it the Sci-Fi London?
Oh, Attack the Block, yeah.
Yeah, he was great in that. I hadn't seen Daisy Ridley before. But I think they're all really great young. I mean, they're kind of the equivalent of Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill. But I think they're all really great in this again, and riveting, keep you watching. And there's a few new faces. There's one new face that kind of pulled me out of the film. He's right on screen at the very beginning, and I lost the plot because in my eyes this guy's a legend, and that's Adrian Edmondson. I was like, what? And for like literally the first 15 minutes, every time he came on screen, I was like, why is Adrian Edmondson there? He's a legend.
Yeah, I didn't notice him at first, and then when I was like, is that?
But I'm so happy he's there because he is a legend, and he deserves to be in something like this because he's an amazing actor.
If only he got a frying pan and whacked Kylo around the head with it.
He should have done, yeah. And for all those who don't know what we're talking about his performance as Eddie in Bottom, which was violent.
Yes.
But not in Star Wars. But it was quite a shock to see him there, and a pleasant shock, I have to say. There are some other kind of bit parts, new people in there.
There is a character who shows up that I wasn't expected to see at all. But when after he was on screen, I thought, yeah, actually that makes sense. But I won't say who it is or where it happens or anything about it.
No idea who you're talking about.
But no, that was quite a cool moment.
Benicio del Toro.
Oh yes,
because he's really great.
He's good in it. Yeah. He's a little bit Han Solo-y, but not
a little bit. Yeah,
up to a point. Should we say?
Thought he was cool. And Laura Dern pops up. She's great.
She's good in it.
A small role she's got. Well, it's quite a big role, but some nice.
And there's lots of little familiar faces from. Yeah, like Kate Dickie.
Katie Dickie, Scottish actress who's really good. She's done some. She was in that film. Is it called Red Lights? I think, which is a really good Scottish film.
There's a lot of talk about how it's the best since Empire, or it's quite similar to Empire. I mean, obviously you've got the big walkers that show up, which makes it look a bit like Empire Strikes Back.
Icy kind of scenario.
Yeah. But it's not really. I guess there's stuff that is a bit of a throwback to other films, but while Force Awakens, which I loved, a lot of people hated that because it was too similar to A New Hope, and it was, plot-wise, it's not that dissimilar. This, I don't think, while it has scenes that remind you of other things. I mean, it's difficult with Star Wars when they want, obviously they want to put stuff in that is familiar, because otherwise every film's going to feel completely different and not feel like the same universe. So they have to put stuff in that is recognisable. So,
I mean, I think that's what because I'm not a fan of the three that came, the prequel ones. To me, they didn't really feel like Star Wars films, whereas these ones feel like Star Wars.
Well, they do.
Films.
Yeah, I think that's why I loved Force Awakens so much, because it felt like the old Star Wars, and probably because the plot was quite similar. But I think it was just that. It was just the characters and the comedy. Also, all that stuff was back.
The sound as well. I mean, the sound effects. Those little.
The funny little robots and things,
and, it just makes it feel like you're in the Star Wars world. I mean, I have to say, there was I think I read a couple of reviews that said this one kind of exploded the whole thing and made it quite absurd and almost, it kind of went places that no other Star Wars had been, which I didn't feel. It just felt like another Star Wars film. A couple of things maybe, but nothing. There's nothing mind-blowing that's going to change the face of Star Wars forever, I don't think. I mean, there is stuff that happened that I'm like, did you have to do that? Or why did you do that? But, you just got to go with it. You can't change it. So you just got to be, look forward to where they go with it next. So, obviously it's been directed by Rian Johnson, who I think has done a pretty decent job.
Oh, definitely, yeah. It looks, there's some gorgeous shots in there and, there's some good performances and it all looks great.
I mean, I only know him, obviously. Well, he did Looper, didn't he? Which I wasn't the biggest fan of.
I love Looper.
Yeah, I don't know. I had a few issues with it. I think I had issues with the acting, actually.
Really?
But, I just found the acting wasn't great.
Okay,
but that's just me. And my weirdness. But he did make Brick, which was really good.
Yeah.
I don't know much else.
Did Brothers Bloom, didn't he?
Oh, he did that one.
That's the only one I haven't seen, actually.
I did enjoy that one as well. But no, I thought he's tackled this well. I think he's come into it, and obviously they're giving him 3 more.
Yeah, they're giving him another trilogy of films to do. So obviously, you know, Disney are happy with what he's done. So who knows what that'll be? You know, something completely different, presumably. Yeah. Whether it's going to be all new characters or what, you know, it's exciting to find out.
I think it's good that, you know, they clearly have picked their directors well, and they've clearly found people that have that love for the original. I mean, obviously, Star Wars is. You know, it's hitting legendary status a little bit. I mean, here we are 40 years later. Like we said a couple of weeks ago, you know, they're still making these things, and obviously there are directors that, you know, much like I think the directors that we grew up with had, you know, love for films back in the 50s. The directors that are making films nowadays obviously grew up, you know, having love for things like Star Wars and Back to the Future and all those things in the 80s. So they're able to... That's why programs
like Stranger Things exist.
Exactly so, yeah. So I think, you know, they're finding some good, you know, good directors who are coming in and taking on the reins and producing some really, really entertaining films, which is nice to see when there's so much crap out there as well. So it's nice that they're kind of, you know, they're holding that mantle high and keeping it going. So I'm looking forward to the next ones they do as well. Yeah. So that was our little review of Star Wars. We hope you liked it. Because we don't do reviews on this channel, we don't give scores. But should we give scores?
We could give a score if you want.
Give a score.
Out of what?
Out of 10?
10, yeah.
How many?
I don't know. 8?
I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So 7.5.
I'm only giving it a 7 because I still really enjoyed Rogue One. And I would give Rogue One 9 out of 10.
Right.
Because I thought that was a fantastic film. I think I'd give Force Awakens 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Because it brought me back into it and I really enjoyed it. This one I'm going to give a 7 because I really enjoyed it, but it's not as good as Rogue One, and it's not quite... I've already been pulled back into
I think it's difficult because Force Awakens, like the first new one, it was so, like, Star Wars, yes!
Yeah.
It's difficult to kind of get that back again now.
And also because I'm not as invested in the world as some people. Nothing wrong with that. That's why I'm going to drop it down to that.
I think,
But you go one higher, you have the right to do that.
So. I don't know. It's difficult when you've only seen it once. I think it probably requires another viewing or two at least to really appreciate everything. But there's definitely stuff in there that I would, if I made films, I would have done differently. But, you know, that's just me. We definitely recommend it.
I would definitely recommend it. And definitely, you know, don't wait till it comes out on streaming or Blu-ray. Go and check it out in the cinema because, you know, that's obviously the place for these films. It's worth it. And I think you'll have an enjoyable time. Definitely. And that's it for us. We shall be back tomorrow with another non-blockbustery film. And,
But we will be doing a spoiler review of Star Wars as well.
Oh, we will?
Because, as you could tell...
We found it very hard not to spoil it, so...
Had to think every time we said something whether it was going to spoil anything. So,
exactly. So we're going to throw one together and do that maybe next week.
Yeah, in a week or so, when lots of people had a chance to see it. So
that will be fun.
But yeah, let us know your thoughts on Last Jedi, whether you enjoyed it or not. You know, I'm sure lots of people haven't, and that's fine. You know, so yeah, let us know. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe, and
all that great stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.